Hey folks, Roger Gonzalez here with LocalTheatreNY.tv. I am doing a Zoom interview because that's what we do these days with my good friend Dirk Fisher, best known for the Strawberry Theater Festival, the Strawberry One Act, and now you're doing Jacunda. So I want to begin this conversation by giving you a chance to tell us what that is.
Jacunda, right? Well, first of all, I just want to let you know, Jacunda also means riant, which is jubilant,
Really?
jovial, cheerful. And so what's happening is that I'm working with Artel Hotel in Bushwick in Brooklyn, and I'm going to be bringing the Jacunda Music, Film, and Theater Festival there. And I'm real excited about it because our whole motto is to be the destination, the place where creative minds can meet. You'll be able to have a nurturing place to stage your show or show your film or to sing with your band or whatever. And then we invite investors, we invite producers, and so you can do some networking and then also hopefully collaborate. It also has a facility which is pretty much like WeWork, so there are breakout rooms where you can sit down and read a script, pitch a project, work on something. So it has all of that. I'm just very excited. Just very, very excited.
You should be excited. This is an artistic home, really, for artists. It's a place where they can create. Now, I have to say, out of all the theater festivals, out of all the theater companies out there, there's this word pivot, which is what's happened during COVID. The sudden need to pivot to digital, to pivot to Zoom, to change the business model, if you will. And man, I have to congratulate you. You jumped right in, and it's like that festival never even had a hiccup. You just kept going. So tell us, how was it planned to be before? Or what was the plan for it before, and what's the new mission until we get back to normal?
Well, listen, Roger, you know how it is. We had just finished the Strawberry One Act Festival at Symphony Space, and then we already had signed contracts in February once it closed, and we were signed contracts with recording artists, comedians, and we had already had a lot of submissions for films, and we were planning to open the Jacunda Festival April 24th through the 26th at the hotel. I mean, they had just opened the last weekend of February, and they were like, Van, what do you have for us? Because they were already from Thursday to that Sunday, 88% capacity. And at that time, they were just doing a gallery open. So they were waiting for us to bring this content to their, to the hotel. And so then, initially, you know how it is with artists. We're always like, the show has to go on. We're very optimistic. Something's going to open up. Things might change. And then I said, wow, what are we going to do in the meantime? So we had a lot of submissions that had already come in through Film Freeway. That's where we have a lot of submissions now coming in for the festival, the Strawberry One Act Festival, as well as comedians, films, you name it. It's all listed there. And I said, look, there were some really great plays that had been submitted that we wanted in the festival. I said, why don't I talk to a couple of those playwrights and see if they wouldn't mind doing it as a play reading in the meantime. That's really what happened. And I told them, I said, look, we still want to do your play in the festival when we open up. But in the meantime, this might be a good way for us to keep engaging our audience, which is what we want to do. We don't want to lose them. We want them to know, look, we're here. And people want something to do, The main thing for me was that, before even doing it with the theater, I was meeting with friends and family. We'd have birthday parties. And I have people in the South, all over the country. And it was just great to be able to network with people, to connect with people. They're having their food, you're having your food, you're having your drinks, your desserts, and you're able to laugh. And, sometimes you don't even see your relatives that often, right?
Right.
But with Zoom, you were able to see them, and then you see them in their place, and it makes you feel like everything is going to be all right. You can see they're all right. And so, doing the reading series, it was like an extension of that. I said, let's do it like a party. Have a virtual party, but instead of just the party and everybody having their drinks like a happy hour, let's, we'll do a reading. You can still have your drinks, and we'll talk to each other at the beginning and talk to people, afterwards, make some friends, which is the main thing. I got to tell you, the most beautiful thing about this whole thing is I've met some wonderful people from all over the world.
Well, let's stop there for a second, because that's a key point that you make. All over the world, Zoom suddenly opens up, this digital presentation suddenly opens up the audience space to anywhere, pretty much. You have internet, you have a computer, you have Zoom. You can see a Jacunda Festival show in New York. So, I mean, are you getting a sense of like where people are coming from? Who are they, and what's the kind of response you're getting? Because it has to be different, right?
It is amazing because listen, artists want to work, they want to create, they want to keep working on their craft. We had one actor, he was shooting on a film for 6 weeks when everything shut down. So when this came along and he saw the script, he was like, wow, yeah, sure, I want to do it. We had a lot of people who've been doing episodic television, and they were just happy to have something to do because they're, sheltering in place, twiddling their toes. And, the other thing is, so it's just been a great group of people who are just so happy to be together. They were helping each other. They were giving each other ideas. Some people, it was their first time on Zoom, so they were telling them how to figure it out and how to do this. It's been, that whole unity, that whole feeling of community. That's the main thing. And I said, look, when this is over, when the hotel opens up, you could all come. We're going to have the biggest opening night party. You can stay the whole weekend because the prices are going to be very cheap. So seriously, I just can't wait till that day comes. Because, we're used to hugging people when we see them. And right now, all we can do is look at you and, give you that air fist. Yeah. That's it.
I love it. I mean, listen, I too want to go back to that day that you have that big opening party at the hotel and everybody shows up. We all want that, and definitely are looking forward to that. But you're turning lemonade out of lemons, and you've been doing it on a very regular basis. I see what you post on social media, how you promote the different readings, and there are a lot. You're doing a lot, not just like an occasional reading. Tell us about the kind of schedule you're keeping, the kind of shows you're putting up, how many shows you're putting up, how long it's going to go for. I mean, just give us a sense of how to join in and see one of your Zoom readings.
Okay, well, you can easily go to our website, or you can even Google Jacunda Festival or Jacunda Music, Film, and Theater Festival. You can Google Play Reading Series on Zoom, or Google, go to our website, Riant Theatre, and you'll see how to submit. There's, on the homepage, you'll see it comes up. There is a submission fee, $35, and we read the script, and if we think it's good and we can do it, we'll definitely let you know and put it on our calendar. The best thing for us has been that we've had such a positive feedback from people who came to see it. And, like people don't know. It's like their first time watching something on Zoom. They don't know what to expect. But the thing is, people have said, wow, it's been so engaging. They almost felt like they were watching a film. That's the biggest compliment. And they said, like when you go to the theater, you're watching it from a distance, so you can't really see everything. But here, you get to see the two people in a scene. You can see their faces up close. You can see how they're reacting and, acting, responding, acting and reacting. And they were just like, wow, they really, really liked it. And they wondered, knowing that when you're on stage, how we're right in the same room, usually in a play, and you can communicate. But here they were like, well, how did you manage to do that and stay connected, and you're in two different places? So that's the thing that, in the beginning, the first month, I was really learning how to perfect the technique to direct the actors and tell them how to do it on Zoom to stay connected with the characters and engage the audience. So
yeah, it's a tricky learning curve, without a doubt. I mean, I did a Zoom early on just to practice it. It was an hour and a half play, and yeah, there's a lot of technical issues. I think people are now, and I want to say this to folks out there, people are now seeing Zoom elevate in terms of quality, in terms of technique, because we've learned how to edit better, or perhaps just, position the camera better or get better sound, things like that. And I think that certainly helped. Now you said you're doing one Zoom a week or one play a week, or
we're doing one play a week, sometimes two, like on a Saturday and Sunday at 8 p.m. We have one coming up on the 15th where we're doing 3 short plays in one night. So it's busy. And then, sometimes a play may do very well. And then, we have our talk back afterwards, and the playwrights may take into consideration some of the comments, and then they've done rewrites and they want to do it again. They say, well, Van, can we put it up again? And I say, okay, let me look at the calendar, see what we can do. So we have some that we're bringing back, yeah, but, it's interesting because while one play is rehearsing, another play is, we're in the casting process. So we handle the casting, we handle the publicity, the rehearsals on Zoom. It's a lot. I felt like, wow, it's like I'm doing more now than before.
Well, you're probably saving, time on travel and things like that, but you're not wasting it. That's for sure.
Definitely not.
Now, do you direct a lot of these plays? Because I've seen you, really hands-on. Tell me about your personal involvement in all this work. That's a lot of work.
Well, what I do first is I ask the playwright if they have a director, because the main thing is, it's their play. They may already have somebody in mind. When they don't, I've come in to help out. I had one situation where early on there was a character that was just miscast, and I was like, look, our reputation is on the line. This has got to be good. And I was like, the whole play is not going to work if you don't recast that role. And so that's when I realized, even when somebody else is doing something, I still need to be there to watch so I can guide them if they need help. Well, we've had some excellent directors who've brought in some great talent, and they did it all on their own. And we're just there in those instances to give our support. But yeah, we're doing a lot.
Now, how long will this summer? How long would Jocunda keep going, and when does Strawberry come back in? Because you mentioned earlier before we did the interview that Strawberry is strong and still there. So give us a sense of that.
Well, so what's happening right now is that some people are submitting their plays for the Strawberry One Act Festival or the theater festival, which are, the longer plays. And then some people are just submitting their plays for the Jocunda Festival. So I'm considering all of those plays right now in terms of doing them in the play reading series. And then when it gets to the point when we can gather in a theater, then depending on which festival they're in, they'll be in it. But right now, we're just doing theater, so it really doesn't matter, which festival they applied for.
Just keep sending them in and talk to you.
Yeah.
Now, do you charge for people to go see the Zoom readings? How's that work?
Well, what we did, and the first month we did it for free, and I just felt like, we'll do it for free because number one, I feel like, you want to make sure your product is good, and I was still learning how to use it, so I didn't feel like it would be right to charge until I know we've worked out the kinks. And we did ask for, donations, but, people didn't give any donations. So it was like, wait a second, a month had passed. And, I guess, everybody's going through hard times. So it really depends on your audience. We've had people who wanted to give more, when we started charging. And then, we settled on $15 because even if you have a great audience at $5, it's not going to help pay your bills. And right now, that's the main thing. People need to know that the theaters still have their expenses, and we're just trying to stay afloat.
Yep.
And right now it's just about us trying to raise money to pay the expenses for the theater, the stuff that's costume sets that are in storage, any other bills that come up. And we've been very fortunate that the artists who have been, volunteering their time, they're helping out with the cause. They know that they're helping us do a benefit show so that we can cover our expenses.
Yeah, and I think it's important that we come together as a community. We try to help each other. And you mentioned something earlier about auditioning on Zoom or digital audition. Tell me about that, because I think that's great.
Well, like I said, one of the main things I discovered, even with the seasoned actors, they were like, wow, I've never done this before. We had one guy, Broadway actor. He's done 6 Broadway shows, and we had him, Alton Fitzgerald White. He was in The Lion King for like 12 years. He, set a record with that. And he's phenomenal. And his spirit is so beautiful. And so he came to us and he was like, oh, he's, read the script. He really loved it, wanted to be a part of it. It was called The Breaking Point. But this was his first time working on Zoom. And so I was giving him feedback, telling him, okay, this is what we need to do here. So it looks like you're you're hearing the other person. You can't see them all the time. But so I realized there is a technique to that. So
Yeah.
The amazing thing is, as I've been directing them, I've been teaching people how to do it. So I said, I should offer this as a service to other people, because the same thing happens when somebody's auditioning. I realized the people who auditioned, who used some of the tools, I just put out an article today, 8 tips for auditioning or doing a play reading on Zoom. And some of the people who auditioned, who took the time to, you know, dress like the character, maybe use some props, make sure the lighting is good. I had one guy, he auditioned for 2 different roles, and he had me laughing hysterically because he did everything. I was like, oh, he's already got the part, because he was so there. But that's what makes the difference. It makes you stand out if you do the work and you apply it. So that's when I said, look, I should offer this, private coaching for actors,
Yeah.
and help them out. We do the playwriting class as well. I did one before in the summer, and as a group. The only difference now is you're on Zoom, but we can still put you in breakout rooms, so you can have some actors read your scene and then come back afterwards, and we can all talk about it and see what's there and keep it moving. One thing I realized, like I said, actors always, people in the theater, the show must go on.
Yeah, you're right, and that's great that you're doing that, because that definitely was something that happened right after we started transitioning to Zoom and digital. It's like, how do I do this? And the same thing for, I mean, script writing is script writing, and I think what a lot of people don't realize is that you don't stop writing, you don't stop developing. You still think about that time that you can bring your show to wherever you want to bring it. So tell us about the script writing.
Well, one thing I've learned, like we had a couple of Broadway producers who've been in the True with Bob Oster, does a wonderful
Yeah,
job.
no problem.
And they've said, there's a couple of Broadway shows that, we're in the process and rehearsing. And they said after working on Zoom and this whole digital thing, they're not going to stop using it, and we're not going to stop using it, because you can have people from all over. You don't have to worry about transportation. You can be in that room immediately. You can read that script, work on some things. So definitely something we want to keep doing. I do the playwriting workshop on Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights, and also on Saturdays. And then I also offer it on a one-on-one situation. I have 8 different volumes of the best plays from the Strawberry One Act Festival. So I use some of those plays in the book as examples, so they can know what good writing is and learn some of the elements of a play and learn character development of a play. And I also give them some of those challenges of like writing something in 15 minutes, where they don't have to think and say, well, this is the situation, write that. Let's see what you come up with. And that's been very, very helpful. And then I also bring in guest teachers to teach acting classes, or to come in and read the material and give them feedback and critique. So it's a pretty fluid situation where they can also collaborate, network, and get some good feedback.
Yeah, I think the networking part is important, and I've suggested and done little videos. I've written about it. This is a great time to network. This is, your audiences are home for the most part, wherever the home is, and the people that are going to make a difference for your career are also home. So it's a great chance to meet people that you otherwise wouldn't get to meet if you can't get to the theater or you can't get to the event. With Zoom, you can pretty much meet everyone. I really want to congratulate you again. You pivoted so quickly. You jumped into this new world that we're in so quickly, and you embraced it, and you really mastered it. And that's really why I wanted to interview you, because I think you're one of the few that did it so quickly and so well and so effectively. So how can people, what's the best place for people to find you, find your article, find all the things that you're doing, submit plays? Would it be your website? Tell us about that.
The website is www.therianttheatre.com, and that's Riant, RIANT, and theater, THEATRE. So the website's a good place. But if you can remember, if you remember Strawberry One Act Festival, one thing I've always checked is the Google. Make sure we show up. You could Google Strawberry One Act Festival. You can Google my name. You'll see something that will come up, and there'll be some contact information. You can follow us on Instagram, Riant Theatre. You can follow us on Facebook, Riant Theatre. And that's pretty much it. And we will definitely keep you posted. We have a blog, so you can also look us up there, blog for Jaconda Festival, and we have all the articles on there. We have how to submit, everything you need, or you can just email us at rianttheatre@gmail.com.
Well, Van, you do a lot for theater. You do a lot for people in theater. I want to thank you again. I'm glad I know you. I'm glad that you've been keeping busy. I'm sorry that you're working a little bit harder and learning a little bit more than you expected to at this point in the year. But things will go back to normal. I'm confident of that, and I'm glad that you're managing. So, folks, if you're out there, visit the website, reach out to Van, submit your plays. This is no time to sit home and do nothing.
Right.
A person like Van and the Riant Theatre and Jaconda and Strawberry, those are organizations that will help you to move forward with your work. So on that note, I want to thank you again, and thank you for doing this interview. I appreciate it.
Hey, Roger, you've been around and you've been so supportive of us at the Riant Theatre and for all the different theaters. I mean, I've been following your local theater, New York website and the newsletter, and there's so much information, and you really bring people together. You connect the dots, and that's really what it's about in theater, is having that community.
Yes.
And that's what it's all about.
Thank you.
And I applaud you too, man, because you've been supporting us and keeping us moving and giving us exposure we need.
I will continue to do so. Thank you, Van. And folks out there, please share this video. Please reach out to Van and the Riant, and please stay safe, wear your mask, and stay positive.
Thank you. Oh, hey.
Yeah.
This is the Artel Cafe. This is the cafe at the Artel Hotel. Just to let you know, this is only a piece of it. So you see, it's very colorful, and it's a place that was designed and built for artists.
Okay, so one last question: is it open? I mean, I know we can't. Hotels.
They're there. I don't know what they're doing. I reached out to them last month. There's so many guidelines they have to do in terms of making sure everything is safe and clean for people. So in terms of the hotel, I don't even know if the hotel is open right now. This is a virtual background, so I'm not at the place.
Well, let me tell you, folks, if you're in Brooklyn and you get a chance to take a peek or go on the website, I know that if I'm in that area, I'm going to take a peek and see it, because I was dying to go there. I was looking forward to that space. But again, thank you, Van, and visit the Jaconda, and if you can, go to the hotel. And I'm looking forward to that opening party. So take care.
It's going to be. Thank you so much, Roger, man. Have a good time.